This is for the woman who's smiling in public, but unraveling in private. The one who keeps showing up, pouring out and holding it down while wondering who sees me. You are not weak. You're just weary. You've been carrying invisible weight, and it's time to stop pretending that it's light and start letting God carry what's heavy. It's time to heal what you've been hiding. Hi, I'm Ruth Jones, and I want to warmly welcome you to Transition Tuesdays. It's a space where we face life's hardest places with faith, courage, and boldness. I want to thank you for joining me today. Today, we're talking about looking strong, but secretly falling apart. What happens when strong women start to unravel? If you're feeling tired today or worn out or like you have nothing left to give, I want you to know this. You're not weak. You're just weary. Life feels heavy because it is heavy. Maybe you're watching today and you show up every day with a smile at work, at home, at church. You lead board meetings, or maybe you run a business. You head up a team. You set the staff agendas. You run the same meetings. Perhaps you even lead a ministry. This is what people see. Weight. But what people don't see is the weight you're lifting behind that smile. And while you're carrying a lot, the mental load doesn't stop when work ends. It follows you home. And the caregiving, add the transitions, the unspoken grief, the need to be strong for everyone, even when you're breaking. Wait. And yes, some of this is sacred. You cherish the role, but it's still a weight. Now, on the outside, you're amazing. You look amazing at holding it all together. You look like a rock star. Others may even emulate you. They want to be like you because you're juggling it all, but it comes with a cost. And just because you've gotten good at managing it doesn't mean it's not affecting you. Now, let me say this clearly. High functioning women often get overlooked in their pain. I want that to sink in. High functioning women often get overlooked in their pain. Let's talk about why that happens. Why do so many strong women suffer in silence? Maybe that's even you watching today. You've been praised for your resilience. You've even made strength your brand. But the truth is, strong women can break too. Here's why you might be privately unraveling. First, you perform well even when you're not okay. You show up with a smile, you run your home, you keep the business running, the ministry afloat. High functioning women have learned to look okay even when they're not okay. Sometimes that comes natural to us. Sometimes we just put on that facade. But this creates a perception of stability and capability that causes other people to assume that we're stable because we look stable, when in reality, we're silently burning out. The second reason people suffer in silence is that you're seen as the strong one. Friends and family, they come to you for help, which means you often don't get checked on. Others depend on you, but they don't ask about your heart. Strength becomes your self-worth for the high-performing woman. And over time, this becomes harder and harder for them and others to allow space for weakness, for sadness, for uncertainty. There's the fear that if they stop holding it all together, everything will fall apart. The third reason strong women suffer in silence is that you carry invisible labor. High functioning women carry mental, emotional, and spiritual loads that don't show up on the surface. See, there's the planning, the anticipation, the problem solving, the mediating of family tensions and conflicts. There's supporting others when they're going through a pain. There's managing transitions or caregiving in silence. The list goes on. But these things, they don't come with applause, but they still deplete energy and well-being all the same. And in fact, research from the American Psychological Association shows that this invisible labor is a major factor in anxiety and emotional fatigue among women, especially in those balancing multiple roles. Does that sound like you today? Another reason is that you don't ask for help. Because see, you're the helper. Vulnerability feels risky. And because you're often conditioned to minimize your needs to support others. So you simply just don't ask for the help. And lastly, high-performing women suffer in silence because culture rewards output, not peace. See, we live in a society that rewards, that praises productivity, not rest. One that values self-sufficiency, over surrender. So when a woman looks like she's doing it all, like she has it all together, people celebrate her output, but they rarely pause to ask about her heart. So being capable then becomes this trap. It becomes this hamster wheel of, I have to look like I have it all together. I have to hold it all together because that's where my self-worth comes from. Now, the result is that high functioning women often suffer in silence, not because they're not hurting, but because no one thinks to check on the strong friend and they're unwilling to drop the mask. Maybe that's you watching today. You're amazing at holding everything together, but it comes with a cost. And friend, I'm here to tell you, your weariness is not a weakness. It's a sign of invisible weight, and God sees every ounce of it. Maybe you're navigating a life transition, taking care of a loved one, or rebuilding after a loss, all while keeping up appearances that everything is normal. See, I can remember being there myself. I remember losing my first child to a horrible miscarriage, but yet having to show back up at work 2 days later, just 2 days. Not that I couldn't have took time off, but I just went back into motion. And I didn't share with the soul what it was I was walking through. See, I was grieving in private, but leading like a boss in public. I was hurting and disappointed in my private. I was struggling with my faith and with questions in private, but I was being strong for others in public. Not that I couldn't have brought anyone into my journey on my job or told my boss what I was walking through, but it felt too raw. I didn't want anyone to see that place because it was so private and it was so devastating. I just didn't want to share that with anyone. So I went back to work and I kept up appearances, but inside, secretly, I was unraveling. Sis, if that's you and you can relate, I want you to pause and I want to say this to your heart. I see you, but more importantly, God does. And you're not broken. You're just simply burdened. And he hasn't called you to hold everything together. He's called you to hand things over to him. I want to invite you today to a shift in your perspective of what strength and transition looks like. What if it looks like surrender? I know it feels like everything is falling apart, but what if this unraveling is actually a holy invitation? What if the threads coming loose were the threads that were never meant to hold you together in the first place? See, in scripture, we see this pattern of strength and surrender over and over and over again. See, Elijah looked fearless on the mountaintop when he was calling down holy fire and preaching for revival. But then just a few chapters later, he's collapsed in a cave, asking God to let him die. But God didn't meet him with shame. He met him with a whisper. And then there's Hannah. She looked like the model worshiper on the outside. She was faithful. She was composed. She was showing up at the temple to worship year after year. But inside, she was deeply grieving with issues of fertility and silent comparison. But you know what? God saw, he heard, and he moved. Hannah's unraveling became her turning point for her miracle. And even Jesus, before the resurrection, there was the breaking, the cross, the silence of Saturday before the resurrection of Sunday. And there was the surrender in Gethsemane. See, the breaking isn't your ending. It's just the beginning. See, friend, the unraveling you're experiencing is not a sign that you're failing. It's an invitation to join God in something new, because the strength isn't holding it all together. True strength is surrender. True strength is surrender. So what do you do when you're secretly falling apart, but still showing up? Well, I want to share with you 5 simple steps that have grounded me when I've been walking through a season of private unraveling. First is to tell the truth. See, God can handle your honesty. You don't have to filter your prayers for him. You can let it be messy, let it be raw, let it be real. Sometimes it just sounds like, Lord, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not okay. See, that's not a faithless prayer. That's a faith-filled prayer, because you're taking it to him and you're telling him the truth. The second thing you need to do is to get still. See, you don't need another checklist right now. You don't need another 10 things to do. All you need is the presence of God. You need presence over productivity. You need stillness. You need to sit with God and just breathe and let him meet you in the quiet. Psalms 46:10, one of my favorite verses, encourages us to be still and know that he is God. So get still. The third thing is to make space to feel. See, you've been performing strength for so long that you've often forgotten that it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel. Unraveling, yeah, it brings up issues of sadness and feelings of anger, and it brings up disappointment and even numbness. Don't rush past it. Don't suppress that. Don't spiritualize it away. Let the emotions come. Feel the feelings. Yell, cry, journal, or even just sit in silence. You don't have to hide your heart from the one who wants to hold your heart. Make space for God. Sit and feel. And the fourth thing is to stay nourished. See, when you're going through transition, when you're unraveling in private, one of the best things you can do for yourself is so practical. It's eat good. It's drink water. It's rest. Get your 8 hours of sleep. Play worship music to uplift your spirit. Read a psalm. It's practical, y'all. Sometimes we are so spiritual that we're not any earthly good. If you will do these practical things and stay nourished, it will be a lifeline to you. It's not a luxury. Nourishment is a lifeline. So nourish yourself. And the fifth thing is to speak life. See, even when your heart doesn't believe it yet, even when your heart is unraveling, you still need to speak life. Confess aloud, I'm not done. God's not finished with me yet. I'm being reshaped. God is still working. God is working all things together for my good. See, these words will remind your soul what your circumstances have made it forget. You need to speak it until your soul remembers. I love what David said in the Bible. He said, I would have fainted had I not believed I would see the goodness of God in the land of the living. You need to declare goodness over your life. I will see the goodness of God in the land of the living. In my life, I will see the goodness of God. In my children, I will see the goodness of God. In my legacy, I will see the goodness of God. Through this divorce, I will see the goodness of God. Even with this loss, I will see the goodness of God. I will see the goodness of God. Speak life until your soul remembers. See, the truth is, the woman you were before the season, yeah, she was strong, but she was striving. She performed strength. She hustled for worth. But this new you, the one who's raw, who's real and reaching for God, she's powerful in a whole new way. You're learning how to let go of what no longer serves you. You're learning how to hold on to what really matters. You're learning that rest is holy, not lazy. You're learning that brokenness isn't the end. It's the doorway to deeper wholeness. You are not any longer a high functioning woman. You are a surrendered woman. And this next chapter of your life, it's not about proving anything. It's about surrendering the unseen weight that you're secretly holding and giving it to God. And in return, you're becoming everything that God has always seen in you. Sis, I hope this message has blessed you today. I'd love if you would drop in the comment and share with me what invisible weight that you are going to surrender today. What's the weight that you're going to surrender? Friend, let's lay it down together. And be sure, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss another video for encouragement. And whatever this week finds you, remember that God's not just getting you through the transition, He's transforming you in it. I'll see you next Tuesday for more transition talk. Until next time, boldness for the journey.